Mishnah 10. Rabbi Dostai bar Yanai Mishum Rebbe Meir. Rabbi Dostai gives over in the name of Rebbe Meir. Kol hashocheach devar echad mimishnat to. So we just talked about a guy who breaks away from his learning. Now he says, you think that's bad? If you forget a single thing that you learned, malay alav hakasuv ki'ilu mischay b'nafsho. It's as if you've earned your own death. Right? You're chayav b'nafsho. You thought the last Mishnah was strict and hard. This guy says, once you've learned it, if you forget it, you're done. Again, extremely painful Mishnah to read, and one that just clearly doesn't make sense. How can Hashem treat you? It says if a person learns and they forget it, then it's as if they're chayav b'nafsho. As it says, rak hishamer loch. Right? Beware, be cautious, and guard it. Ushmor nafshecha me'od, and guard your soul very, very much. Right? Pain tishkach et ha'devarim asher hu einecha. Just in case if you forget something that your eyes have seen. Be careful, don't forget anything, because your soul's at stake. Right? Don't forget stuff that your eyes have seen. Yachol afilu takfa alav mimishnato. Wait, what if it was just too hard on the guy? I mean, even inside the Mishnah, he says this Mishnah makes no sense. The Mishnah itself says this Mishnah makes no sense. Right? How can you possibly? And so he quotes his Rebbe. He says, "My Rebbe says, if you forget a single thing, you're chayav b'nafsho." And then he comes and says, "How can that be? What if it's just too difficult on the guy?" Talmud Lomar. So we learn. You're right. Ufein yusuru milvavacha kol yamei hayecha. Now we're talking about a guy who's working consciously to strip the ideas out of his heart and discard them. We're not talking about a guy who forgot, a guy who he learned more than he could hang on to, a guy who was absent-minded, a guy who never had a good grip. But we're talking about a guy who's doing his best to take a bulk eraser to the moral philosophy that he's learned and tries to discard it. Ha'enu mischayev b'nafsho ad sheyeshev v'yisirem milibo. That you're not chayav b'nafsho until you sit there and consciously remove it from your heart. So that's the attitude question here. It says it's not talking about a person who learned and doesn't get it. Right? Often you'll see this whole idea that God's reasonable. He does not hold you responsible for things that you just can't help. Right? If no one ever taught it to you, you're not held responsible for it. So this is really a different case. If I gave you a stack of medicines to give to your kid, remedies, and I said, here's the order you have to give them to. This one counters this one, and this one works with this one. And if you give it to them properly, you will cure them. And if you give it to them improperly, you will kill them. How much time and energy would you put into making sure that you had clarity on what they were and what order they had to be given? Right? If you give this to the guy in the wrong order, again, I am expecting that the surgeons who are taking this process have worked really hard on understanding what the interactions are and what the complications are, and that they don't do something and say, oh wait, we forgot. Oh, sorry, I forgot about that one. Right? If you recognize that something is important and that your life is at stake, or someone else's life is at stake, then you work to make sure that you have a handle on it. So it is not the case that every Devar Torah you ever heard on a Shabbos afternoon while you tried to stay awake, right, you're now going to be quizzed on at the end of days, and if you don't have it, you forfeited your soul. That's not what it means. And it doesn't mean that every piece of Torah and every page of Gemara or every shir you've ever been through, how often do you go find an old notebook from a shir you took 15 or 20 years ago and you say, I learned that. I got to go tell the kids, I learned that. I forgot all about the fact that I learned that. Every once in a while you hit a piece of Gemara and it's like, oh yeah, I did that. Right? So that's not what it's talking about. This is really a deeper question of what is, it's Torah Chaim, it's instructions for living. So not everything is relevant to you every day. But what do you do with the parts of Torah is here to teach you how to live in this world. Because if you throw it away, both these Mishnayot go together. It's really a question of what's your connection to your Creator? What's your connection to halacha? What's your connection to Torah? If you recognize that God created you, and He created you with a set of obligations and tools for having a relationship with Him, and you choose to just discard that and not remember it, because it's not important to you, it's destructive to your soul, right? How would your wife feel if you completely forgot her birthday? Right? You forget your anniversary. Worse than forgetting your birthday or your anniversary, you forget like very basic aspects of her character and what she's interested in and what she requires and what she wants, right? And it's like, you act in ways that are, it's like, she's like, you've known for years, that's not my life. How could you be like that? Right? It's a level of disrespect. We like having magic Torah people slip behind us during shir. It's good. It's okay. A person who throws away his Torah says, he says, the line is at the end, a person who sits, right? Eino mischayev b'nafsho until sheyeshev v'yisreim melibo. You sit and you remove them from your heart. And there's people like that. And we face it in our own lives as a threat. Sometimes you just don't feel like it. And you just, I don't want to know about it. I don't want the burdens. I don't want someone who can tell me what to do. I don't want obligations. I just want to float free and take life easy. Right? Unfortunately, that's not the role that we've cast for ourselves. And I just read an article in Forbes magazine about a guy who lives on a little fishing island off the Bahamas. And that's it. He works 120 hours a week, but he works 120 hours a week barefoot catching bonefish. There's something to be said, working 120 hours a week as a guide catching bonefish. Right? He just kind of hangs out and fishes all day long. Shows old rich guys how to fish. On the other hand, man, what a brain-destroying way of life. Right? This happens to be one of the guys he took fishing once said, I like you, you're smart, why don't you come work for my hedge fund, and made him a manager of $1 billion hedge fund. He said, I want a guy who thinks outside the box, like a bonefish fisherman. But eventually he got bored of that and decided to go back to bone fishing, to bonefish fishing. So he's an interesting guy. But again, right, it's not our task. Our task is not to be the most easygoing guys in the world. It's to live our lives focused on meaning and growth. So that's our mission.